Hot dogs, Cracker Jacks, and pop flies. Those three words had everybody thinking about the same thing: baseball. Everyone has had at least one memory in your life about going to a baseball game, whether it was seeing your first home run live or dropping your $10 hot dog on the concrete. Baseball is a game that has connected us for a very long time, but does anyone know quite how long? Today I will be informing you about how baseball became America's pastime by explaining how the sport was formed, the creation of the American League, its impact internationally, and how that has shaped baseball into the sport that it is today. Personally, I played baseball for 16 years, anywhere from Little League T-ball all the way up to my high school's varsity team. Baseball holds a special place in my life, and I feel as if others should know the history of it and how it has impacted America. So today I'm going to take you out to the ball game where we are going to be taking a trip around the bases. Let's start at first base, the origins of the sport and how the name baseball was coined. The origin of baseball is considered fairly uncertain. This is because anything with a bat and a ball can be considered some form of baseball. This dates back to as far as 2,000 years ago, where they used rocks and sticks. Baseball has slowly become modernized in both productions of bat and balls, as well as uniforms and stadiums. According to the World Baseball Softball Confederation, a man named Abner Doubleday invented the game of baseball in 1839 in a city called Cooperstown. Doubleday had also participated in the early part of this league. The real inventor of the rules of the game is a bookseller from New York, Alexander Cartwright. Who wrote the rules in 1845. Now that we have covered first base and I talked about where baseball originated from and how it was coined in America, let's go on to second base, where I will discuss about how the National League came to be. According to the World Baseball Softball Confederation, baseball became the first professional sport in America by 1850. The National Association of Baseball Players, also known as the NABBP, was created, leading to start the National League in 1876. William Hulbert, a businessman from Chicago, created the National League to end corruption and mismanagement of the former National Association of Baseball Clubs, also known as the NABC. From there, 8 original teams were formed: the Boston Red Stockings, the Chicago White Stockings, the Cincinnati Red Stockings, the Hartford Dark Blues, the Louisville Grays, Mutual of New York, Philadelphia Athletics, and the St. Louis Brown Stockings. Then in 1901, the American League of Professional Baseball Clubs was founded, rivaling the National League. By 1903, the rivalry had gotten so out of control that a new competition was created to signify the end of every season: the World Championship Game, also to be known as the World Series. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the Boston Americans faced off against each other in an 8-game series on October 1st, 1903, with the Boston Americans taking the victory 5-3. The World Series was created to promote unity between the two leagues, but ended up connecting people to each other domestically and internationally. In 1943, the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League was created by Chicago's Philip K. Wrigley as a way to keep baseball alive due to the league losing so many men as they were enlisting to fight in World War II. This league gave over 500 women an opportunity to play ball, but also serve their country. LaVon Pierre said that she felt as if she was keeping up the country's morale. Not even 10 years later, Jackie Robinson was the first African-American male to join Major League Baseball. From then on, baseball became a true American sport, as everyone was included. The success of the World Series was also heard around the world as other countries started to form baseball leagues of their own, starting with Japan in 1870 and spreading to more than 20 countries by 1948, such as Puerto Rico, Italy, and the Dominican Republic. As you can see, the impact that baseball had since the creation of the major national league is incredible. It has set the preset for many national sports in regarding to fairness and inclusion. From learning about the impact of the World Series and the National League, let's move on to third and final base and discuss how the impact has affected the sport that I know today and love. Baseball is a very populated sport today in various types of settings. There is anything from t-ball to travel ball to high school ball, college, and even pro ball. 25.6 million people are playing baseball and softball in the United States. This is a 21% increase from 2014 to 2018. Without the MLB becoming international, we would have never known about some of these baseball greats like we know them today. Players like Ichiro Suzuki, who came from Japan, Javier Baez, who came from Puerto Rico, and David Ortiz, who came from the Dominican Republic. Now that we have passed third base and covered why baseball today is significant, let's head home. So in conclusion, we have completed a full trip around the bases. We traveled to first base where we were informed about the origins of baseball and how the name was coined here in America. Then we stole second base and we learned about how the National League was formed, as well as the massive impact the World Series had on the United States. Finally, we sprinted to third and used the previous information to learn about how baseball's past has affected its present. And now we are back home, well informed about the history and impact of America's sport. Cooperstown, William Hulbert, and Alexander Cartwright. Now that you know who those people are and what city that is, you will now know what these words mean. Hopefully you will now associate with these words with baseball and the great American game of baseball, and think about where it has started, how it has grown, and where it is now.